Hey, it's Shamika, and I wanted to take a couple minutes to explain what trade lines are. There are several, and I wanted to be able to explain the difference for you. First, trade lines is nothing but a fancy way of saying a line of credit. If you have a credit card on your credit report, that is a trade line that is reporting. If you got a line of credit at a local Ace Hardware that you can use to go buy products for your business, that is a trade line. So pretty much anything that's a form of credit, a line of credit, a credit card, a retail store card, anything like that is a trade line. Okay, so first I just wanted to state that in the beginning. Second thing, when it comes to trade lines, you have authorized user trade lines, you have primary trade lines, and of course you have business trade lines. So as I stated before, trade lines are just a fancy way of saying credit, so at least now you know what they are. But I'll explain the difference between the three. So authorized user credit cards or authorized user trade lines are nothing more than credit cards that another individual owns, and they agree, usually through an agreement or through a broker. So it's usually done through a broker agreement, that they will, once you pay for the right to be cycled onto this person's card, all you're going to do is sign the broker agreement. They're going to add you to their card for whatever the cycle is. The cycle could be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or more. And you will sit on their credit, or you'll be added to their credit card, and whatever good thing happens to their card also happens to you. But that also means whatever bad happens, also bad happens to you. Okay, so let me back it up really quick. So a lot of individuals are interested in buying trade lines or authorized user lines that have a high credit limit and that are aged. So they like a high credit limit, aged, because a lot of individuals feel that if you have them that are older and have a high limit, then when it turns around and the company starts to look at you to give you credit, that they'll do the same. That does not necessarily happen. What happens when you are piggybacking off of someone else, or you're doing an authorized user program, pretty much what is happening is you're just being added. Your score will take a little bit of a hit, as in a decrease in score, because 15% of your credit score is new credit. So you will be opening up a new line of credit, although it is not a hard pull or anything like that. It will show a new line of credit. It will take a small little hit in deduction of points, but that will go back up. That'll change, so that's not really a big deal. And like I said, you will be on that individual's card for whatever that cycle is, and it will continue to report on your credit for as long as they have you on their credit card. A lot of times this is a good way, especially if you're a parent and you have children, or if you just want to help some younger person starting out, to add them to your credit. Be responsible with your own credit cards so that you do not negatively affect the other person, because that is very important, to make sure that you don't affect or hurt anyone else when you are adding them to your credit cards. Okay, so you want to make sure that you do right, because if you do wrong, you have a 30-day late pay, or if you have a charge off or whatever, that also will show up onto every single individual that you added. So it is important that if you are doing authorized user trade lines, you are getting them through a broker, because that's usually your guarantee that, one, that it'll post, two, that it is a legitimate card, and three, that the individual who you've been added to is responsible, and they will not do anything to bring your score down. Now, let's just say something happens negative and on the individual, the primary owner's card, and it affects you negative. What can you do? This has happened before. I've had a daughter added onto her father's card, and just out of the blue, life got too busy for him, and he stopped paying. He missed a couple bills, and her score dropped tremendously. And seriously, it's really not that hard. All you really have to do is do it in writing, in blue ink, please. Anytime you do anything with the credit bureaus, it's always blue ink. But you write them a letter and you let them know that you were just an authorized user. You are not the primary, and you would like to be taken off you would like that account to be taken off your credit profile. You can also, if you like to double it up, you can also call the company or the credit card issuer that you're added onto and let them know that you no longer want to be an authorized user, or you can let the individual who's the primary know to remove you. If it doesn't come off your credit right away, once again, like I said, it's all done with just a letter verifying that or stating that you were not the primary. If they give you a hard time, you can easily get something from the credit card issuer, let them know you've been removed, make a copy of that, send that on in to the credit bureaus, and also make sure that credit card issuer reports that you are no longer on that card. Because believe me, credit bureaus, they have no problem with us, but they don't listen to us. They listen to the companies because that's where they get the majority of their money. So if a company says that this is accurate or this person is added on, that's exactly what the credit bureaus are going to believe. So you always have to make sure that they, the credit card issuer, are doing their part. Okay, so that is authorized users. Moving on to primary trade lines. Primary trade lines, credit card building trade lines. Some people use different terminology, but pretty much all primary trade lines are trade lines or credit cards or credit accounts that you, the individual, are the primary for. You are not an authorized user. You will not be added on to anybody else. It is your card with your name on it. And usually these primary trade lines are high interest lines of credit with a bunch of different companies out there, and their whole purpose is to be created so that you can pay them to report on your credit that you're paying. So a lot of those, and like I said, I call those credit building trade lines. You can purchase those yourself. They're going to come, the cards may or may not come because sometimes they're just a line of credit. There is no card, but they are yours to use and to use responsibly. Okay, just like a regular credit card. Remember, these are high interest. They are definitely not for the long haul. They are really just to help you boost your score, to get yourself back in a strong place with your credit before you start moving on to something else. All right, so that is the primary trade lines. There's nothing really special about those other than they're really just there to help you boost your score. And then last but not least, we have business trade lines. And a lot of people use business trade lines because it sounds fancy. It's so new. It's a big new terminology to a lot of people, so it sounds like it's something big, but really it's nothing more than lines of credit, credit cards, but they're just for your business. They report on your business credit report, not your personal. That is completely separate. And you get business trade lines simply the same way you get personal trade lines. There are applications you have to fill out, things like that. If you watch another one of my videos, and I'll try to put that link down below, you can watch my video about business credit. But business credit is how you establish business trade lines. You have to get a credit score, which is your Paydex, built first. Once you get that built, then you can now move on and start applying for all types of business trade lines or credit cards. So that is the 3 types of trade lines that there are out there. Like I said, they go by so many different names. Please do not be fooled, but it's just a fancy way of saying credit, line of credit, vendor credit, trade credit, retail credit. I can keep going on and on and on, but it is what it is. It's just a line of credit. Don't be fooled, but educate yourself, people. Credit is where our economy is going. It's pretty much always been there. It's very important to have. Not just for your everyday, I need a house, I need a car, but I mean, we're talking about further down the road. We're talking about when you want to expand your business, you want to get funding from banks, when you start growing up and get those big ideas of things that you want versus just the little things that we normally want just for our everyday life. So credit first, it matters. Your financial future is first. Educate yourself, become financial literate, and I hope that I helped you with understanding trade lines. So have a good one. This is Shamika with Shamika Saves.